Hey everybody, welcome to today's edition of the Daily Market Commentary. It is the 1st of November, 2017. For those of you new to the channel, what we do every day is we review the same futures markets. And those futures markets, by the way, can be taken out to, you can extrapolate those out to ETFs and equities and individual securities and all that fun stuff if you so choose to. But the key is that we leave the lines on the charts, and we don't change the lines unless we're doing it in the recording so that you can see exactly how trades evolve and manage over time. Now, we're looking at about 10 different futures markets every day, so that means that some days we're not going to get into anything. Some days we'll get into one or two things and it'll fail, and some days you'll wind up with 4 or 5 trades that meet entry. So it's a mixed bag, and so let's talk about that mixed bag as for today. So we're going to start with the S&P. That is our first market that we look at. Now, I will tell you, the S&P, I was tempted to use this level yesterday, chose not to, simply because I didn't like the time of the day that it was created. We got a little bit of a bounce off of it today, not a ton. Even if you go to a small time frame, you don't have a whole lot of opportunity, even on the smallest of time frame charts. I'm staying away pretty much from the S&P. There's really nothing on here to make me want to jump at it. I mean, we moved 10 points today, so there are trades to be made, but you really have to start diving into the very small time frames, like maybe even on this 5-minute chart. There's a little bit of ceiling, a little bit of resistance right here. This could be an area for you to possibly get into a short opportunity. I am not really still shorting the S&P. I don't see the S&P as a good shortable opportunity at this point, so I'm going to leave this thing be altogether. Looking at the Nasdaq. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Nasdaq. So on the Nasdaq, we have a small time frame entry down here to be a buyer. Today, the Nasdaq fell off between yesterday and today, fell off pretty hard as it had not fallen when the S&P did on prior days. Looking at this on a smaller time period, we can see that we definitely have rallied back up to areas that could be selling opportunities. So if you're a small time frame trader, there is possibly a breakdown potential. If we break below this 62.39, you maybe could get a small time frame breakdown. I wouldn't be selling it at these levels. I'd wait for price to start to show me it's dropping, because there is room for it to fall. It could certainly fall into this 62.16 area and even out of the 61.40, which is really where I see a good potential entry point going forward from here, but really nothing that tickles my fancy. Crude oil. Same thing for crude oil. Now, crude oil, I would like to see a bounce off of this level. In a perfect world, I'll see a little bit of a bounce off of this level, and then we'll be looking at a short on a breakdown below this 53. Let me move that a little bit. Below this 53.79 area. So if we get I'd want to see, a breakdown below this 53.79 to get short. Stop would be way above here, this 54 area though. So you've got a fairly wide stop on it right now, just based on prior, volatility. Gold. So here was a position that turned out to be a losing trade, and I will always admit when we got losers, as price came up into the gold level and just completely blew right through the zone. I anticipated this to be a pretty strong reversal candidate, and it did not work. But interestingly enough, oftentimes those reversal candidates turned out to be a buying opportunity and a chance to get in and for price to rally up off of that level, and we're moving up off that level now. So I'm going to delete this. I'm not going to say that I took this, because I did not, but I have seen that happen from time to time. Levels that I think could be pretty good levels that turn out not to be quite as good as I thought they would be, kind of reversing steam and going the other way. All right, so let's go take a look at a couple of other markets. Let's go to our bond market first. And looking at our bond markets, we'd had a potential buying opportunity. Price did not get to that buying opportunity yet. I'm going to leave that in place, as that could still be a buying opportunity. As far as a selling opportunity, you might have something up in here, but really there's nothing that I'm jumping up and down about. On the Aussie, nothing has come up, although we're coming close to an area that could serve as a potential breakout trades. So we could get a breakout long above this area here. I'm gonna change the properties on this and make it a dashed line. As one that I'd want to see. I'd really want to see it base here a little bit more before the break up from that area. The more it bases ahead, the more I'm going to like it on a break up from that area. The euro, look at what the euro has done though. This is the level that we drew about yesterday and talked about. If we break above here, there could be a long, and we haven't been able to break above it yet, but that level still holds true. Same through with the Canadian dollar. We said if we get a breakdown below here that we could have a short potential. So both of those breakout trades are sitting there waiting in the wings, and while we didn't get an entry today, they are still something for the future. And last but certainly not least, Nat Gas. Nat Gas, I really have not done a great job of identifying quality levels in this one. I'm gonna be probably a little bit more aggressive in some of my Nat Gas levels because I feel like I've missed too many calls in Nat Gas by not being aggressive enough. That being said, I want to be smart about being aggressive. We are at a potential short reversal in this area here. Don't know if it's going to hold true or not. So in lieu of being short on the reversal, you could get short on a confirmation. And that short confirmation would be below here. If you get a little bit of a move below here, and then I would place my stop just above kind of current price if this does indeed become a pivot. Great British Pound. We talked about the Great British Pound price would have to get through here, and we wanted to see, is price gonna consolidate here a little while before we get a breakup? Well, it didn't consolidate long enough, which is why that breakout failed. So we didn't take the breakout because it didn't fit what we were looking for a pattern. What we're looking for a pattern in a breakout is what I really ideally want to see is kind of what we have being formed in the Canadian dollar, right? So I like to see, for a good breakout candidate, I like to see an area that's been touched again, base, touched again, and it's just hit there enough times that it's exhausting the amount of support in an area. That's a good breakdown. For resistance, I want to see something that touches an area and exhausts the amount of resistance in an area. That's a breakout to the upside. Well, we don't have that occurring in the British pound. That's why we had that circled area. I wanted to see it base there. It didn't, which is why it failed. See, failed breakouts occur when you just randomly take breakouts instead of having a pattern of what breakouts that we're looking for more consistency. A good example of that, by the way, is this Japanese yen breakout on the daily time period. Let me go to a daily chart. On the daily chart, I like this. We broke above, base. Now, we haven't hit it quite enough times. I'd like to see us hit here base again before then a breakdown potential does indeed occur. If I move this to the hourly chart, smaller time period, you could get a little entry right in this range up in here. Now that would be on probably a better look would be on a smaller time frame entry. No, I don't like it. When I go to the smaller time frame, it actually I like it a bit less on the smaller time period. So still waiting on a good setup in the Japanese yen to kind of get me excited. But those are our levels for today. Lots of breakout potentials that are kind of hanging out, waiting in the wings. We'll see if those meet entry tomorrow. Thursdays, I like to call Thursday moving day because it seems like the markets tend to find some movements on Thursdays, and even right around the European Open on Thursday evenings or late Wednesday evenings, early Thursday mornings, right around the European Open tends to be some of these times that these breakouts occur. So if you've got the chutzpah and the gumption, you can leave some of these positions on in the overnight hours. One of the things I do like about this particular broker, which is TD Ameritrade, is that I can do these micro currency futures. So if there's something that you like, but you're not totally comfortable yet in trading it, instead of trading like this breakup in the euro, you could do the micro futures in the euro. So I think it's M6E. Is the micro futures. So it's the same chart, essentially. It's just got 1/10 the size. So if you want something to practice and something that you can use, maybe looking at those micro futures are an option for you. So, all right, that's all that I have for today. Oops, closed the wrong button. That's all that I have for today. If you guys have any questions or something I can help you with, please let me know. and I will gladly reach out and help you with whatever I can. So until next time, see you tomorrow. Have a good day. Bye.